In these problems, we are trying to solve for a variable. So in this first one, it says solve for v. What that means is we want v alone on one side of the equal sign and some number on the other side of the equal sign, and then that's what v equals. We've solved for it. We've found v. It doesn't have to be v. We're going to solve for y. We're going to solve for w. You can solve for x, any letter you want. The method for doing this is to do something on both sides of the equal sign, the same thing. We want to keep this equation balanced. You can think of this equal sign as like the fulcrum, the point of balance on this equation. And if you add 2 to one side, you've got to add 2 to the other side to keep it balanced. If you want to subtract 10 from one side, you got to subtract 10 from the other side to keep it balanced. That's the main principle we're going to be using when we're solving for variables in algebraic equations like this. So let's look at this first one. We have v minus 4 equals 6. I want this v alone. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of this negative 4. That's the problem over here. I want that negative 4 to go away. When you want something to go away in an algebraic equation, you have to do the opposite. This is minus 4. The opposite of that is plus 4. So if I added 4 to this side of the equation, those two parts would add up to 0. They'd cancel each other out. But of course, I have to keep this balanced, so I have to add 4 over here as well. So let's just go ahead and do that and see what happens. I've still got my v, and then I've got a negative 4 plus 4. That's 0, and I could write plus 0 here, but I don't have to. It doesn't add up to anything, so we can just leave it out. Now, on the other side of the equal sign, I have 6 plus 4, and that's 10. And look at that. I've got v alone on one side of the equal sign. I've got a number on the other side. So this is it. This is my solution. v is 10. Let's try that again. Here you see a similar kind of problem. Things are just arranged a little bit differently. We got y on the other side, but the same principle is going to work. We want this y alone. So now we've got a negative 3 over here that we want to go away so that the y is alone. So I'm going to do the opposite of a negative 3. I'm going to add 3. But to keep the equation balanced, I have to do that to the other side of the equal sign as well. So on this side, 7 plus 3, that's 10. On this side, y minus 3 plus 3, well, that's y plus 0, or just y. And lo and behold, we've solved it again. Y equals 10. All right, let's try one more. This one's slightly different. This time we have 5 equals w plus 2. And this property we're working with is called the additive property, but the same thing applies with subtraction. Subtraction is just adding a negative number. So what we can do here when we have w plus 2 and we want the w to be alone, to get rid of this plus 2, we do the opposite of adding, we subtract. But of course, we have to do that to both sides of the equal sign. So 5 minus 2 is 3. Then we have our equal sign. And w plus 2 minus 2 is going to be w plus 0, or just w. So w equals 3. So that is how to solve equations using this additive property of equality.